All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lodgify's latest webinar. My name is Mikkel Radich, and I'm a content marketing strategist here at Lodgify. And just want to start out by saying a very big thank you to everyone who's joining. Looks like we've got people from all over the world, so cool to see where everyone's from and to see you all there in the chat. Today's a pretty special webinar because it's our first marketing webinar with Booking.com. Super excited to have with me here today Emily Tusick, who's an account manager of partner services over at Booking. Thank you so much for being here with us, Emily. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much to Lodgify for having us. And I am based in Denver, Colorado, and have been with Booking for about 4 years. So thanks again, and thanks to everyone for joining.
Amazing. Thanks, Emily. Yeah, we super appreciate your being here and are so excited to hear your presentation. Emily's got some great slides for us today on proven strategies to boost your Booking.com performance, and I'll be handing it over to her to get started just momentarily. But first, a couple things from me, starting with some housekeeping items. Please keep in mind that everyone in the audience is muted, so we cannot hear you. However, we can see the chat. So if you've got any questions or friendly comments, go ahead and put those in the chat at the right side of your screen. Now, if you can't hear us, that is an issue. One solution might be if you see a blue button on your screen that says tap to unmute sound. I've got it pictured there on my slide. If you see that, your audio is muted, so go ahead and give that a click. If you don't see that and you still can't hear us, try turning up your audio. And then as a last resort, try refreshing the page. Sometimes that'll do it. And then lastly, since we get this question quite a lot, yes, the webinar is being recorded and you'll be getting the recording sent out via email tomorrow. So if you missed something, you got to jump off early for whatever reason, no worries. You can rewatch the webinar whenever you want via YouTube. Okay, so what are we going to cover? I'm going to be starting in just a second with a brief introduction to Lodgify for those of you who aren't familiar with us yet. Then I'll be turning it over to Emily to talk about proven strategies to boost your Booking.com performance. And then as always, we'll be ending with a Q&A session with questions from you all. So if you've got any questions now, or if anything occurs to you throughout the webinar, go ahead and put them in the chat at the right side of the screen. And yeah, just remember that this is a really great opportunity to get your questions about listing on Booking or improving your performance on Booking answered by someone from Booking.com. So we don't get this opportunity every day. And I definitely don't want you guys to miss out on that. So please don't hesitate to share your questions. All right, so what is Lodgify? I know we've got a lot of Lodgify customers with us here today. So for those of you, just bear with me. I know we've got some newbies in the chat too, so I want to give us a brief intro. Lodgify is an all-in-one vacation rental management software that helps you manage, automate, and grow your short-term rentals. And our goal is really to help you maximize the potential of your property while also taking full control of your business. And we do that with what you could call the Lodgify ecosystem. Now, it all starts with creating a direct booking website so you can accept direct reservations for your business. And Lodgify offers a couple solutions for you to do that. The first is if you already have a booking website, or you already have a website for your business, but it's not set up with the functionality to accept reservations, we offer a booking widget, which is basically just we generate some code for you and you copy and paste that onto your website, and in minutes you're accepting bookings. It's super, super quick and easy. Now, the other solution is if you don't have a website yet for your business, we offer a website builder that lets you build a website from scratch. Now, I've done this myself, so I can say from experience that you really don't need any technical skills, any website building know-how, any of that to build this. And it's really incredible just how easy it is to create a super professional looking site in no time. So that's our website builder. And I'm going to jump to the bottom of the screen here where it says PMS and Advanced PM. PMS stands for Property Management Software, for those of you who don't know. And then Advanced PM refers to our Advanced Property Management modules. What both of these consist of is essentially features that help you automate your business. So this could be to do with task management, reporting, guest communications, various aspects of your business can be automated with those features. So between those two things, chances are Lodgify is going to help you do what you need to do for your vacation rental property. However, we also integrate with a marketplace of dozens of third-party apps. So if there's something you want to enable that Lodgify doesn't offer, pretty likely you can do that with one of our integrations. Okay, so now I'm going to step back to where it says Channel Manager in the middle of the screen there in green. Channel managers are crucial for your business because even if you've got your direct booking website set up and you're successfully accepting direct bookings, chances are you still want to list on a third-party booking platform, like, for example, booking.com or Airbnb or Vrbo, basically to tap into the visibility and the reach that those provide, right? So you definitely want to be diversifying your listings and listing elsewhere. And when you do that, you also need to be really careful to make sure that your calendars are in sync across all of your listing sites. And the good news is that Lodgify's Channel Manager allows you to do just that. So with our Channel Manager, you can sync your calendars, your bookings, rates, properties, listings, all of that important stuff across all of your listing sites. And the goal here is not only to ensure that you don't have double bookings or overbookings, but also to enable you to update all of that information in just one place in Lodgify, right? So it saves you time, stress, make sure you don't miss anything, just really important. And speaking of listing on third-party sites, and since we're talking about booking.com today specifically, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Lodgify is actually a booking.com premier connectivity partner, which is Booking's highest partner status. And this translates to a lot of different benefits for our users, but what it essentially boils down to is that we try to create the best possible user experience for Lodgify customers who want to list on booking.com. So one example of this is that we're currently working on an industry-leading feature, booking.com rental export feature, that allows you to do a couple of different things. To start, you can create a booking.com account directly from Lodgify, and then you can also automatically export your Lodgify rentals and sync that content to booking.com in minutes. So why is that important? This process before involved filling out forms and lots of manual setup. So it essentially wasn't the easiest or the fastest, just wasn't a great process, right? We're really excited to change that and make it much more efficient for everyone. Basically help you start listing on booking.com much more quickly, right? So this is coming out in the next few weeks. And once it's available for you, you'll be able to see it in the channel manager section of your account. I also think there'll be a banner or something within your account, so it'll be clear that it's available. Now, this is all to say that Lodgify is a great tool to have in your pocket if you don't have a PMS yet. I definitely recommend giving us a try. And we do offer a free 7-day trial for you to do so. You can access our trial either via that link on this slide there. There's also a green button at the bottom of your screen that says try Lodgify for free. That'll take you right to our trial as well. Okay, and last few things from me, I promise, before I hand it over to Emily. Whether you are a Lodgify customer or not, you can take advantage of our upcoming events. The first one we have coming up is another webinar on October 7th. This one's going to be with Mark Simpson, who's the founder of Boostly, and he's going to be walking us through the top 3 mistakes that hosts tend to make on their websites and how those basically can kill your website conversions, right? So not only what those are, but then also how to fix those in under 30 minutes. And what's going to be really cool about this webinar is that Mark's actually going to be offering free live audits. So if you want a live audit of your website to see maybe what's not working great with your website conversion process, this is a great chance to get tips for how to fix that. All right, and lastly, we also have an online event coming up on November 12th. This is going to be our new Independent Host Summit. We actually think it's going to be the biggest online event out there for vacation rental hosts. So it's really, really cool event, jam-packed with lots of valuable resources for you all. You can expect stories from successful hosts, hands-on demos, sessions with industry-leading experts. I know we've got someone from PriceLab, someone from Airbnb, so really great lineup of speakers. And yeah, it'd be cool to see everyone here at both of those events. I'm going to put the links to register in the chat. And then even if you think you have scheduling conflicts with either of those, I recommend registering just so that we can send you the sessions after the event. You can watch whatever works for you. So yeah, I'll put those links in the chat and I will hand it over to you, Emily.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mikkel. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks again to Lodgify for having us. So excited to share how Lodgify and Booking.com are working together to help you grow your vacation rental business. So, what we do for travelers. Travelers are increasingly seeking diverse accommodation types beyond traditional hotels. Booking.com caters to this demand by offering a wide array of vacation rentals from cabins to beach houses, urban apartments, and desert retreats. This broad appeal means your vacation rental listings are exposed to a massive and varied audience. What we do for our partners. So, for property managers, this means access to tools and services designed to help scale your business, promote your properties efficiently, and ultimately increase your bookings and revenue. So, vacation rentals now represent 1 in 3 room nights booked globally on Booking.com, and we have welcomed over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests. The demand is here and it continues to grow. Guests often come to our platform with a destination in mind rather than a specific accommodation type. This means your listing gets exposure to travelers who might not have considered a vacation rental at first, but are open to it once they see the option. In 2025, 800,000 vacation rentals earned a Traveler Award, which demonstrates the quality within the vacation rental segment on Booking.com, which builds trust for both travelers and hosts. So, Booking.com is continuously investing in technology to launch exciting new features to enhance the vacation rental experience for both guests and hosts. So AI, this is the hot topic right now, which has been a game changer for us. Travelers can now use natural and conversational language like, I want a house close to the beach that's good for families and our dog with air conditioning to find properties. This means your detailed property amenities become even more valuable, and it's always a great practice to detail any and all amenities you have. If you accurately list amenities like air conditioning or pet friendly using the example above, your property will show in the search results, leading to better match bookings for you. Booking also uses AI to translate those conversational searches into smart filters, which presents the most relevant properties to travelers. So Booking.com will highlight your property's unique selling points personalized to each traveler's search, making your listing stand out and help convert more lookers into bookers. So 63% of travelers rely mainly on photos when searching for a stay. Let your photos speak for yourself with our enhanced display of search results. We now display photography more prominently, and the vibe of your property is now obvious at a glance thanks to the larger photography, while still efficiently showcasing all of your key benefits. So, delivering happy travelers to you. So, the Gen AI powered assistant is accessible to any time by travelers. We use it to provide guidance and information to travelers about their trip, including helping them make changes to their date based on your policies. Vacation rental travelers, especially families, want to plan transportation ahead. The upgraded connected trip experience will help them plan around affordable flights, get transportation recommendations, pre-book airport parking, and add extras such as car seats. So this is the future of effortless trip planning, which ultimately leads to happier guests for you when they arrive at your doorstep. So how our performance tools can help you. So now shifting on to what matters most, boosting your performance on booking.com. We will go over maximizing your availability, creating solid foundations, showcasing your unique benefits, payments by booking, and unlocking family travel potential, which all can ultimately boost your performance on booking.com. So finding the right balance between restrictions and availability. Consider evaluating your restrictions and availability to find the right balance. So minimum stay rules. They can really boost your revenue per booking, but on the flip side, they can also limit your guest pool, especially for those guests that are looking for a shorter domestic trip. Longer stays, on the other hand, are great for reducing your turnover costs. However, they can lead to frustrating unbooked gaps in your calendar. Where it makes sense, don't be afraid to maintain shorter minimum stays. This can help you capture more bookings, especially for those travelers that are looking for a quick getaway. Apply a solid pricing foundation with flexibility that suits you. So, a variety of policies and pricing helps you meet diverse guest needs. For example, a 5-day flexible policy increases booking likelihood by 75%, which is huge. 22% of travelers seek group friendly stays, so make sure your occupancy settings are always accurate. And new property deals can help boost initial bookings when just getting started on the platform. Some other tools to help achieve this: mixing flexible and non refundable rate plans to capture different guests. Some guests are willing to pay a higher rate for more flexibility, while other guests just want the most flexible or the most competitive pricing. While not as common for vacation rental hosts, consider using occupancy based pricing for different group sizes. And lastly, implementing new property deals for initial visibility boosts when getting started on the platform can help. So, first impressions matter, and showcasing what sets your property apart is huge. As previously mentioned, photos are the go to information source for 63% of guests. 66% of families seek information about parking options. So make sure to update your parking information, which sometimes is something that is last to be updated. Make sure you take a look at that. And then also make sure to update your content early to catch guest booking 2 to 4 months in advance. So, some specific ways to showcase your property: we recommend adding at least 10 high quality images, and not just your rooms, images of your kitchen and other key amenities really help you increase your conversion rate. On booking.com, you can also tag images to boost their availability and attract bookings. So, for example, if you have a hot tub on your property and have a photo of that, if you tag it as a hot tub, when a guest searches for properties looking for a hot tub, that photo will be prominent when they click your property page. Always make sure to highlight your unique features, amenities, and proximity to attractions, and then keep your descriptions updated to appear in relevant searches. On booking.com, you can also put a custom description in your own words, and you can find that in the extranet under your profile. In addition to custom property descriptions, you can also do a custom company description as well and use your own logo. So always a great practice to make sure that those are updated. So, oh, sorry, this looks a little wonky when I uploaded the slide, so apologies for that. But payments by booking. So, payments by booking gives you guaranteed payments and fraud protection. It also offers guests the choice to pay in whichever method they prefer. So, Apple Pay, Klarna, PayPal, in addition to all of the major credit cards. This flexibility for guests increases your conversion rate when they have the option to pay in their preferred payment method. As an added bonus for the remainder of the year, credit card processing fees are waived when using payments by booking, and hosts who use payments by booking also automatically get a ranking boost on our front end. Okay, unlocking family travel potential. So, booking.com is huge for families, and families now represent 1 in 4 bookings on our platform. 40% of our family guests travel with children aged 0 to 4. So competitive children's rates can help boost your family bookings by up to 15%. Competitive pricing and staying together are key for families. Some specific ways to attract family bookings is: 1, specify max occupancy for both adults and children. List children-friendly amenities with photos. Use occupancy-based pricing for different family sizes if it makes sense for your listing. And then set tailored children's rate with age categories and pricing. If you're new to the platform, you don't have to start from scratch. We help you stand out. So, Booking.com converts review scores from other trusted platforms, giving new listings an automatic credibility boost. Your listings will have a new to Booking.com label, and this helps new properties gain visibility in their first 90 days, attracting early bookers. Your listing also automatically gets a ranking boost for the first 90 days on the platform, and this can help new listings overcome a cold start problem and quickly establish a presence. So, lastly, going through some resources for existing partners, you can utilize our partner hub at partner.booking.com for advice, trends, and any help. For new partners wanting to learn more information about the platform, go to join.booking.com. And then lastly, for any specific questions, you can reach out to bookinghost.noram@booking.com. As Michaela mentioned earlier, this will be shared out with everyone, so don't feel like you need to scribble this all down right now. But I think we are going to move on to the Q&A, and thank you again for everyone for joining, and Lodgify for having us.
Amazing. Thank you, Emily. Lots of great info there. And I've seen we've got lots of questions in the chat, so we can start working through them. Let's see what we should start with. Okay, this is quite a long one. It's cut off, so I'll read it aloud to everyone. Well, essentially it boils down to what can we do to bring up conversions. This person says their market visibility and conversion are below the market standard, and they'd love to diversify the reservation sources. Obviously, you just walked through a bunch of different ways that they can improve performance, but is there anything you would add to that? Maybe the number one thing people can do to improve visibility and conversions if they're struggling with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would recommend logging in to the extranet and looking at the Group Opportunity Center. So under the Group Opportunity Center, you'll find suggestions to increase your conversion rate based on complex algorithms and things that are proven to work. So there's all different kinds of categories, and you'll be able to select specifically what you're trying to do. So for example, if you want to increase your length of stay, it will give you suggestions on how to do that. If you want to increase your conversion rate, it will give you specific suggestions how to do that. So that's the ultimate, the number one thing that I would do first. And then the other thing that I would consider is looking into offering multiple rate plans. As I mentioned earlier, some guests are just looking for the most flexibility and are willing to pay a much higher rate, while other guests are looking for the most competitive rate, and they don't mind if there's no flexibility to book under a non-refundable rate, for example.
Awesome. Good to know. Um, Here's another question I'll just paraphrase. How does Booking.com assist hosts with scams and last minute cancellations? I've also seen another question that's similar.
Yeah,
Here we go. How do you vet guests to minimize credit card fraud? So maybe if you could speak to both of those.
yeah, absolutely. So, one, if you're not already using payments by booking, I would definitely recommend looking into it because when utilizing payments by booking, we handle doing everything as far as one, validating the payment on your behalf, and we check the guest information to make sure that their information matches. Whereas if you're not using payments, we just pass those details along to you to validate. So when using payments by booking, there is a massive decrease in fraud, and it ultimately eliminates a lot of credit card fraud issues that some of our partners have. It also, Booking.com also handles chargebacks on your behalf. So if a guest submits a chargeback after they stay, for example, regardless if they're successful in their chargeback or not, we're still paying you the host out, and you won't even know about the chargeback because we will handle it directly with the guest. So just a great way for an added layer of protection. And then on the other end, as far as fraud protection goes, we are continually developing new features to help protect our hosts. Something I'm really excited to announce that by the end of the year, we will have guest verification rolled out, and it will be more robust than we currently have available. Um, and then we also have, which is now currently available to you, that came out in the past year, request to book. So if instant bookings don't work for that specific property, or your owner doesn't want instant bookings, you can now opt in to request a book, where you can vet the guests a little more heavily as opposed to just having your policy be instant bookings.
Awesome. Thank you. This is actually a question I had for you, because you said, I think it was that using the 5-day flexible policy improves or increases bookings by, I think it was 75%. Could you just speak to what that policy is for those of us who aren't familiar with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So a 5-day flexible policy would be allowing the guest to cancel up to 5 days prior to check-in.
Okay, awesome. Um, Someone was wondering if there's any plan, I actually said this a couple times, if there's any plan to let hosts review guests in the future, which I think is a difference between some other booking platforms out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, we currently don't have any plans on the books for hosts to review guests. However, if you ever run into the unfortunate scenario where you have a bad guest, you're able to report them for misconduct on the platform and ultimately block them from booking at your properties in the future. So you can make it's through an automated process. If you go in the extranet, report misconduct, you can choose, it will ask the question, would you like to block this guest from further booking your properties? And you can select yes or no.
Let's see. Here's a good one from Nicholas. Have you guys seen a pattern to the best sweet spot in terms of minimum night stays, depending on the type of destination?
So that it's so specific to different areas. So my main suggestion is, during those shoulder seasons or where bookings are slower, consider allowing a shorter minimum length of stay. I know that with vacation rentals, it's not always ideal to have, 1 night or 2 night stays, but where it makes sense in those shoulder seasons outside of your high season, I would definitely consider being more flexible with your minimum stay restrictions.
Okay. Good to know. I know it's hard to give one answer that works for all property types, right? It's very specific, but okay, here's one from Edward. He's wondering if the algorithm fluctuates depending on the season for booking.com. He asks because all summer he got reservations from Booking, then it went dead in September. I imagine this could be due to seasonality. But is there anything you could speak to with that?
Yeah, so our algorithms don't fluctuate based on the season it's in. I would ultimately, yeah, chalk that up to seasonality. And during those times, consider changing some of your restrictions or maybe offering more flexible policies during those slower seasons.
Okay. Then one from Stan. He says he increased his commission to booking.com to improve his visibility, but since then went back down to the original amount. But since going back down to the original amount, his reservations have slowed, and he's wondering if this is a coincidence.
So that's a great question. I would have to look into your account more to see which particular product you opted into, whether that be like a Genius promotion or a different promotion that we offer for increased visibility. Ultimately, if you opted out of the product, it would have an impact on your visibility because those promotions are specific to help increase your visibility.
Okay. Good to know.
Mhm.
A couple questions about payments by booking.com. The first one is just to clarify how it works. Does it operate much like Airbnb by collecting the payment and paying out to the host?
Yes, yes. So how payments by booking works is we collect the payment upfront from the guest, and it's then remitted to you on their check-in day. The reason it's sent on the check-in day is because if a guest increases their stay based on your policies, then we will send it in a lump sum. So rather than sending money back and forth, it makes it easier. All of that being said, based on your policy, the reservation is guaranteed when using payments by booking. So if the guest no shows, we've already collected that payment and it will be remitted to you still on the date of check-in. How we're a little bit different than some of our competitors is we do not remit taxes on behalf. So we, of course, collect every tax fee, extra cleaning fee, your nightly rate, and we send that to you in a lump sum. We do not withhold taxes. We also don't withhold our commission charges. So commission is still invoiced on a monthly basis, and we send you the lump sum of the total cost of the reservation.
Okay. Good to know. And then follow up question to that. Can you use payments by booking.com if you're linked to booking.com via Lodgify? I don't think that's an issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can still use payments by booking. It's very simple to get set up in the extranet. You would just log into the group extranet and click finance. And there's a tab under that says payments by booking. Once the new integration is fully rolled out, there may be a section within Lodgify where a reservation has to be marked as paid, but more details to come on what payments will look like within Lodgify when it's fully rolled out.
Awesome. Follow up to the question about the 5-day flex policy. Stephen wants to know why, with the 5-day flex policy, why that increases booking so much when they have the smart flex policy, which provides guests with the same functionality. Does that make sense? Like if they
Yeah,
already have the smart flex policy enabled, why the 5-day policy would increase booking so much?
So if you're already using the Smart Flex policy, they kind of work in conjunction with each other, like one or the other. So if you're using a Smart Flex policy that already offers a 5-day flexible policy, you wouldn't need to offer an additional flexible policy.
Okay. I've seen a couple questions about how booking or what sort of provisions and support booking provides for damages or insurance. Specifically to paraphrase a few questions, what provisions and processes does Booking.com have to support hosts with guest damages?
Yeah. So currently, Booking.com has guest liability insurance, and it's each reservation is covered up to $1 million, and that's automatic. You don't have to do anything to be automatically enrolled in that. We also give partners the option to either one, if they're using payments by booking, you can use a Booking.com facilitated damage policy, or you can, regardless of using payments by booking or not, you can set up your own damage payment policy that will be based on what your internal policies are, and you'd collect that directly from the guest and just have that set as your policies on Booking.com. But in addition to the guest verification that I mentioned earlier, we are going to be rolling out guest damage insurance by the end of the year, and that will also cover each reservation up to $1 million. So it's not available yet, but it is coming by the end of the year, and it is in partnership with Generali. So keep an eye out in your email. The last I heard was around October. So it's coming very soon. And I'm so excited about that because the liability insurance is great, but of course the guest damage insurance will offer an added layer of protection for our hosts on our platform. And I
Awesome. And then
saw,
follow up from Mountain Paradise. They want to know if that includes guest liability.
yes. So the guest liability insurance, which is already available now, will stay in place. And the guest damage insurance is just going to be in addition to that liability policy.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, here's a question from Patrick. What's the best way to increase the number of reviews/feedback? He says hosts and giving guests are often not leaving any review despite seemingly having a great stay.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would definitely recommend reaching out to the guest after their stay. There's a great feature in Booking.com that you can set up guest templates based on specific triggers that would come from you. So if you want to send a day after checkout, I would definitely recommend asking for reviews if they haven't already filled one out. Booking.com, we send a ton of emails after a guest has checked out asking for reviews. However, coming directly from the host, I think, is a great best practice as well. So, just hitting them from both angles, I think, is a great way to help increase reviews. And then also responding to any existing reviews that you have to show that you're engaged and are available if a guest leaves a review, that they'll know that you'll respond back.
For sure. Yeah, I think people are definitely more likely to leave a review if they kind of have the one-on-one contact with the host. Remember that this is a small business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question from Bradley Gordon. They say they have a new holiday home listed on Booking.com, and it's a high-end property specifically. So they're wondering how they can get the rating or stars up on the property to show up under 4/5 stars for guest bookings. So you've obviously spoken to lots of ways to improve performance, but do you have anything specific to high-end properties that you recommend?
Yeah, so it would be hard. So without looking at your property, I can't give a specific answer. What I can tell you is when you're new to Booking.com, before you have 3 reviews, so we use trusted traveler websites to show a review score on our website, which is great because none of our competitors do this, and this established trust right away with guests. Guests can tend to be a little bit more hesitant to book a vacation rental, especially a high-end property that doesn't have any reviews yet. So the way that we display a review and a quality score prior to having booking.com reviews really helps establish that credibility right at the get-go. Once you have at least 3 booking.com reviews, the external review score is then replaced with your booking.com review. Something else is that the reviews last for 3 years. So it's not based on your reviews of all time. It's the 3 most recent years. So if you make significant improvements to your property, if you had, maybe a bad review 4 years ago, it won't be counted into your review score later. And I know you mentioned that you're new, but it's just something I wanted to throw out there for some of our longer term partners.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, next question I'll paraphrase because it's quite long, coming from Suzanne. She's wondering if there's any plans to adjust the algorithm-driven quality rating. I think she feels her rating is a little low, which reflects, would maybe think you would imagine it represents guest satisfaction, but she feels like the truth is that it represents maybe just the fact that it's more of a budget property. So do you feel like that's accurate, or is there any way any plan to adjust the algorithm that drives those ratings?
Yeah, so I'm not aware of any plans to adjust our algorithm. However, what I would recommend, again, what I mentioned earlier, is just responding to any reviews. And as far as the quality rating goes, I would have to look into your specific listing to see why you're showing a 3 as opposed to a higher review score. Without knowing all the details, it's hard for me to give the best answer to that one.
For sure. I know a lot of these are very specific, so it's tough. We have a couple of questions about payments. You may not be able to answer this, but just in case, Rosie's wondering if you know what the payment processing fees will be after 2025, just looking ahead to the new year.
That's a great question. So there is a chance that it could continue to be offered without fees in 2026, and you'll have plenty of notification if there are going to be fees starting in 2026. What I do know is Payments by Booking is facilitated by a partnership with Stripe. And if there are going to be fees associated in 2026, what I do know is that it won't be any higher than Stripe's public credit card processing fee, which I believe right now is around 2.6%. And there's also a potential for that to be even lower based on Booking.com and Stripe's partnership. So again, just make sure that your contact information is up to date. So any company-wide information and updates that we send out, you'll be able to see those via email right as they're launched.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Now, Andreas is wondering if it might be possible in the future to accept payments in different currencies. So he says that right now he's forced to collect bookings in euros because they are, I'm guessing, based in the European Union, but most of their guests are from the UK. So he wouldn't mind accepting payments in Great British pounds.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Andreas. I am happy to follow up with you via email. I'm not familiar how payments specifically with euros come through. So let me follow up on that with someone who's an expert in your area. And I'm happy to follow up with you via email.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll put Emily's email in the chat here at the end of the webinar, so it's easily accessible for everybody. Here's another one about digital guides, and it looks like we've got kind of a couple questions sort of related to this. So this person says they've created a digital guide to send their guests with helpful information like check-in info, local recommendations, house rules, etc. But they're not able to include links in the guide. Is there any other way to send this info to guests to get those links to guests in the digital guide?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So booking, I believe this happened maybe last year or the year before. We started blocking links that aren't designated as approved by you to help protect our guests and our partners against fraud. However, what you can do is within the extranet, under the message template section, there's a section to add approved links. So for your guidebook, just make sure you add those links in. And how you would access that is you would go to, when you're on your listing, you would go to property, and then you would go to messaging preferences. And then you'll be able to see a section that says security settings and an area that says your approved links. So just make sure you add those links to your guidebook in your approved links, and guests will then be able to see them. So we have this in place to help protect our guests from fraudulent links or links, that are not accurate or legitimate, and ultimately to help protect you. But you can add as many approved links as you want, as well as approved email addresses. So if you have an email address that you're sending that might not be the email address that's listed on your booking.com account, you can also add that under the approved email addresses. So will also be able to email the guest from an alternative email.
Awesome. Thank you. Very specific question. Here's another related to guest communications from Nicholas. Is there an option to attach a PDF into a welcome email so we can include guest information as soon as the guest reserves at their property?
Yeah, so you should be able to add a PDF in any email. As far as on the booking.com messaging end, you could add it by saving the PDF as an image and sending the image. I know that's not ideal, but as far as sending an email directly to them, depending on how you have your email, like automated email set up, you should be able to send them a PDF. But I'm happy to look into more details on that and follow up via email.
Thank you. Here's one from Antonello. He's wondering if the ability to write their own description is a new feature or not. I think he was under the impression that Booking generates the description automatically.
Yeah. So booking.com, we do have automatically generated descriptions. Booking is translated into over 140 different languages, so those amenities need to be translatable into all languages. However, in conjunction to our automatically generated descriptions, you can add your own. And how you would do that is you'd again go under the property tab and select your profile. And that's where you can put a host profile. You're able to upload your own photo of your logo and put your brand name. So this is also a great way to increase your direct bookings in conjunction to bookings you would get from booking.com. Travelers are pretty savvy these days. They might find you on booking.com and then Google your company name and book directly with you. And then you're also able to put in your own words in about the property section. So there's about the property, about the host. And this one, not as many hosts fill out, but you are more than welcome. The more details, the better. You're also able to put about the neighborhood in your own words. And again, how you would find that is on the listing you want to add this to. Go to property, select your profile, and you'll be able to see that. I can show you what that looks like. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. So as you can see, you would, at the top of the extranet, you'd select your profile, and then this is where you'd be able to add that information with your own logo, your own about the property section, your own about the host, and your own about the neighborhood. This was released maybe three-ish years ago. So maybe we didn't do the best job at marketing this new functionality, but you're able to do that now. So I definitely recommend putting your descriptions in your own words.
Awesome, thank you. And yeah, really good point about the automatic translation to, like you said, 140 languages. Booking is such a global platform that, yeah, like that's obviously super crucial. So, okay, I think we have time for a couple more questions. So I'll take this one from Edward. He wants to know if there's a way to remove uncalled for bad reviews, such as reviews that feel unjust. I know some booking platforms also deal with like reviews that are actually scams. Is there any way to remove those that aren't actually honest or accurate?
Yeah. So, Edward, if you go to partner.booking.com and search guest reviews or rejecting guest reviews, the help article will come up and it will tell you exactly what is within booking.com policy. And you can request to have a review removed. So if it falls under the criteria of things that we would take a look at a review and potentially remove it, you can find all that information in the Partner Help Center.
Awesome, thank you. And then last question, and I think this is a really great place to leave it. Stan is wondering, what's the best source to leverage all of the marketing tools available to hosts, such as, for example, if there's something like a booking.com university or, I don't know, Host Hub or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I see you put in the chat partner.booking.com. Yeah, what can people find there?
Yeah, partner.booking.com is an amazing resource. I use it on a daily basis myself as an employee of booking.com. And what you're going to find on partner.booking.com are ways to grow your business, specific help articles. So if you're looking how to do something on booking.com, industry news and insights. So if you're interested in trends or industry perspectives, and booking.com news. Excuse me. So really just a great resource all around. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier, but also look into the Group Opportunity Center.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I feel like that's a great place to leave it. I will go ahead and put that website again in the chat at the end of the webinar, just so it's visible for everybody, as well as Emily's email in case anyone wants to reach out with specific questions about their business case or follow-ups to what we discussed today. I also want to take one opportunity to remind everybody to register for our upcoming events. I'll put those links in the chat as well, so you guys have those easily accessible. Again, that was our upcoming webinar with Mark Simpson from Boostly on how to improve your website conversions, as well as our upcoming online event, the Independent Host Summit. I've also put a button there at the bottom of the screen you can click, and that'll take you right to the registration page. It's been really great to have you guys all here, and I'd love to see you all at those events as well. And then just really big thank you to everyone for joining, and huge thank you to you, Emily. It was a great presentation, and you've answered a lot of questions today. So super appreciate your insights.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Mikkel.
All right, well, I'll let you all go and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.